Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear sisters. Today, in a little bit of a different format, I hope this will be beneficial. A lot of people have been requesting it. I just did a Zoom session a couple of days ago with my class alumni, the sisters that have already finished my best version class. So we do these planning and review sessions, and some of them couldn't attend, and there have been a lot of requests asking, for tips and tricks, how to do planning and review sessions. So I figured I'll just record a little clip to explain the details, and I'll share it with a wider audience, and inshallah there might be something beneficial for you guys. Okay, so let's get started. This is a public version, obviously, so I have removed all personal information from the file. In the actual Zoom planning sessions, I was filling it out as I was talking, so I won't be doing that today just to save time, but I'm going to walk you through the file and just kind of give you ideas how you could review your month and plan your next month. Okay, so it's a monthly process and then a weekly process. So I'll explain the details. So the planning and review session has three parts. Okay, so first is the reflection, then there is the intention, and then the execution of it. Okay, so first we're going to reflect on the previous month, okay, which in this case would be June, right? Like we're coming to end of June. Then we're going to set an intention for the upcoming month, and then we're going to make a plan. How are we going to execute those plans that we want to achieve, inshallah? Okay. You can do this online. You can use a similar file like this one, or you can write it down in your journal, whatever works, as long as you get it done. You don't need a specific journal. You don't need a specific app. A blank piece of paper will do. Don't make it complicated. Don't make these things stand in the way of you achieving goals, like seeking perfection. Oh no, until I have the perfect app or until I have the perfect pen. It doesn't matter. Grab just whatever you can and just get it done. I am using this online format right now just because it's easier for me to share the screen and I can walk you through the steps. But many years, or even to this day, I still write it down with just, my regular notebook, or I'll do it online in this kind of format. So don't get confused by the format of it. What matters is the content, okay? So when you review your month, you're going to look through a couple of things here. You're going to try to describe the month in one word. Okay, so you're going to open it up. So I did this for Ramadan before, and then for June, you would just put one word. When you think of the last month, what is it that sticks out? What's the one word that sticks out? So you would write that down, just as a reminder of the month past. Okay, and this is a really nice thing to look back, at the end of the year. Then you'll have reminders of, how each of the months went. Okay, so just pick one word to describe the month. Then you're going to pick some highlights, and highlights meaning good things that happened in the past month. And you're going to try to put three highlights. So even if it was a difficult month, you're going to, try to zero in and, really zoom in and find something that was good, find something that you're grateful for, something that you appreciated. And then again, that's also making us cultivate more gratitude, make us appreciate all the good things we still have despite all the difficulties that might be going on. And the more gratitude you show, the more success you will have, the more happier you will be. So then you're going to put some highlights, from your past month, things you appreciated, even big things or little things, whatever comes your way, but really put something down. Then you're going to write down one thing you learned. What is it, the one thing you learned in the past month? So in June, what is it, one thing you learned? And I'm sure, many lessons could be an actual lesson, like, hey, I learned how to solve the math problem. Or it could be a life lesson. Hey, I learned that I need to set boundaries, or I learned that I need to take time for myself. What did you learn? Or you learned that you have time, or you learned that you're easily hurt, or you learned, what is it that you learned? So put it right here. Then you're going to write down one thing you're proud of, something that happened this month or something you did. And I find this is a difficult one for a lot of Muslim women. They have a hard time feeling proud of anything, because we have this programming of being humble and, not bragging. And so it's almost like a pride is a bad thing. But we want to be happy about our accomplishments. We want to value what we have accomplished. So it's okay to just, be proud of something you've done. And because that pride is going to not, inshallah, lead you into arrogance, but it's going to increase your gratitude, because you're going to say, hey, I'm really happy I did this. I didn't know I could do this. Alhamdulillah, I feel really proud about this. Okay. And one last part is going to be one mistake or one weakness from the past month. And what is it, something that really tripped you up, something that keeps being a problem, something that you wish you could fix, and what are you going to do to improve it next month, inshallah. Here, be careful, because as moms, we tend to be in charge, of children, of the household, of family affairs. Be here very aware that you don't claim other people's mistakes as your own, or other people's weaknesses. So, for example, a messy household, it's maybe not your weakness or your mistake. Maybe it's the people you live with. Okay, so be really, careful here not to take other people's burden upon yourself, and to identify that as your mistake or your weakness. Okay, so just really identify something that's your weakness, and it could be something like, I don't have strong enough boundaries. I do too much for other people. Maybe that's a weakness. That's something is that I want to work on. Okay, so this monthly review reflection is going to set the mood. It's going to show you all the good things that happened in the last month, things you're proud of, things you learned, and then it's going to, maybe identify something that you would like to work on, that you identify as a mistake or a weakness. Okay, so that's the reflection part. Now you're going to set the intention. Now you're going to say, hey, what is it that I want this month to be? And if you don't set an intention, if you are just kind of taking life as it comes, it happens. Life happens anyway, right? But if you're more mindful and intentional about it, then you're going to be able to look out for these things. Like, if you don't know where you're going, it's going to be very difficult to get there. Like, you're just going to be driving mindlessly. But if I know where I want to go, even if I don't make it all the way there, at least I'm going to feel, like as if I made some progress. So what is it that you want this month to be? What is your intention? I want to be spending more time doing such and such. I want to take it easy. I want to rest more. I want to read more books. I want to spend more time with my children. I want to be more physically active. I want to just be. Okay, so think about, what is it that you want to do this month? And then you're going to set top 3 goals for June. And when we say top 3 goals for June, and the reason why we're saying 3 only, because everybody's to-do list is really long and really big, but we want to identify the top 3 things that are going to give us the most results. So, like, look at your to-do list, or your brain dump maybe that you've done. I did a separate video on the brain dump. Think about the things that you want to achieve for the month of June, and those are the things you're going to be really focusing on. And again, make sure those are your goals, not other people's goals. Okay, so set your top 3 goals for June, or in this case for July. Okay, and then you're going to set some mini goals, or some habits, or some activities that you would like to do. So, for example, make sure to go to bed at 10 o'clock, or make sure, you pray your Fajr Sunnah, or make sure you floss your teeth, or, something that's more of a habit that you want to continuously do. Or like just, some mini activities. Maybe you want to go somewhere, or, you want to maybe accomplish a specific small task that's going to make you feel better. So you're going to set some mini goals. So I wouldn't put more than 3 here, just to be realistic. Okay. So at the end of setting the monthly intention, you will have a general idea where you want your month to go. You're going to have big 3 goals for June, or July, sorry. And then you're going to have 3 mini goals. Okay. So you already reflected upon the month. Now you're setting the intention, and now we get to the juicy part. It's the execution. Okay. So now you're going to take those big 3 goals that you set for yourself, and you're going to break them into weekly goals. Okay. So this is how it would look like. I have the template here for June. So you would take your week 1, and you would put here, okay, I have 3 big goals. What are my 3 big goals? Maybe my goal was, to read more to my kids, or to establish a homeschool routine in my household, or to healthier nutrition, or something, whatever you identify as your big goal, big project. Now you have to make it actionable, because most of us, we don't do anything about our big goals because we don't know what action to take. Maybe you want to start your own business. Okay, so what does that mean in the next week? What kind of action do I need to take? Maybe I need to register a domain name. Maybe I need to take a business course. Maybe I need to open a bank account. Like, you're going to put actionable things like in here. And this is a problem for a lot of people, because, our goals are something like, I want to be more humble, or I want to be more honest, or I want to be more religious. Those are all great values, but they're not necessarily goals that you can break down. And this is why we feel that our daily routines are not aligned with our values and our goals, because they don't match up. So you want to really break it down here. So, for example, if your goal was, to do more exercise or something like that in your week one, then you would specifically put, what is it exactly that you want to do, and you would add timings to it, and you would, break it down. I want to walk for half an hour. I want to do some strength training for 45 minutes, or whatever it is that you want to do. If it's Quran reading, you're going to break it down. If it's, whatever your goals are, you're going to break it down into actionable things. Now, you were going to do this into weekly goals, but I don't make goals past this past first week, because as you review your week, you will realize that some things are not working. So it would be a waste of time to set the goals for all 4 weeks, because right after the first week you might realize you need to adjust some things. So leave yourself space, fix up the first week, see how it goes, and then as you review your first week, go into the next one. As you break your goals into weekly goals, you're going to schedule them into a calendar, and you can just schedule it in a journal, or I use an app. It's called Todoist. It doesn't matter, like, really, don't worry about the execute, like, how are you going to do it. There is no perfect app, there is no perfect system. It's all what you make out of it. So you're going to schedule it in. So if you set yourself now a goal of exercising, you're actually going to put a date. You're going to say Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and you're going to hold yourself accountable. Because the problem is, our goals are too vague, and we don't make time and space for them, and then at the end of the week, just the time has gone by and we haven't done anything. Okay, so you're going to break it down, you're going to schedule it, and you're going to schedule a weekly review. Okay, this is super important. And I've done another video about the weekly review, how that is done. But basically, you want to make sure that you go back and then you review what worked and what didn't work. And this is super important. So this is kind of the planning part. As you do the review is even more important. The review is more important, because if we don't review it, for each time I do a planning session, I have way more people attending than when I do the review session, because the review is not easy. Review is where we hold ourselves accountable. Review is when we look back and say, oh man, look, I said this was my goal and I didn't make time for it. It's a bit painful, right? To recognize, oh my God, look, I always said I don't have time, but actually I have time, but I spent it doing something else. So this is, where we have to be honest with ourselves and maybe say, okay, this is not really my goal. Or maybe we'll recognize we have obstacles. Maybe, there's no money, there's other people in our life where we need to set better boundaries. That's all part of the review, because we will identify then what's bothering us, and then we can adjust and make changes. Because if we don't review, if we just let it sit there, we're just going to feel disappointed that our goals are not being reached, and we're just going to say, hey, well, what to do, look at me, I'm a failure, I'm not getting anything done. And especially in, for moms, that are having families, it seems that our lives are run by someone else. Our lives are run by the extended family, by the husband, by the children. And a lot of times moms don't have time to set their own intention, to set their own goals, and the days are just a blur. So if you are a little bit intentional about it, it helps you really cope better, and it helps you look back at what you have done. Okay, so this is kind of the planning. If you don't know what is it that you want to plan, what are your goals, you can do a brain dump. That's a separate thing. I did a video about that separately, and we can talk about that at a separate time. And then keep in mind where you are in your life. Be gentle with yourself. Now, when I say do an audit, I mean look at things like, how many children do you have? Are you pregnant? Are you nursing? What kind of time is this in your life? Okay, and so I kind of tend to say to yourself, give yourself a score. If you have a child, give yourself 2+2 points. If you have more children, +2 points. If you have a newborn, give yourself 2 points. If you have a toddler, extra 2 points. If you live in a joint family, give yourself extra 5 points. If you have financial difficulties, give yourself 10 points. If you have marital problems, 15 points. Okay, so the more points you have doesn't mean you're a winner. The more points you have, it means it's a more difficult time in your life. So then be easy on yourself. Like, don't be harsh on yourself and, put yourself down and say, oh my God, look at me, I'm not accomplishing anything. You have a lot of stressors in your life. So keep this in mind. When we do this goal setting and goal planning, not everybody is at the same spot in their life, and that is okay. But being intentional about it, maybe here, maybe your intention will be just to rest this month. Maybe your intention will be just to survive. Maybe your actions will be, allow screen time for the children because it's so hot outside. And what are we going to do? How are we going to cope? Maybe this intention for this month will be survival. Okay, maybe the mini goals will be just to make sure everybody's teeth are brushed and they've had some fruit every day. So depending on where you're at in your life now, maybe some of you have older children, maybe you are kind of coming out of the fog of raising kids and now you're all excited to go, which is great. Then you're going to be able to set your goals a little bit higher. Okay, so there is no one solution for everyone, and this is why I kind of do these type of sessions so people, sisters would see that they can fill it in their own unique circumstances. And the more intentional you are about your life, the more you will appreciate the good things that are happening to you, and the more you will feel like you're in charge, the more you will be able to work on getting closer to your goals. Okay, so I hope this helps, inshallah. This is just a quick summary of the session we usually do, but I figured since we're not going to do the Mommy Mondays this week, this will be a nice surprise for you guys. And yeah, talk to you soon, inshallah. Take care.